Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining our conversation with Todd. We have today myself, Nelly Porter. I am Group Product Manager with Cloud Security, representing Google Cloud. And in this conversation, Todd Murrah joined me. Todd, introduce yourself, please.
Hi, Nelly. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. I'm excited to talk about how Thales and Google have been working together to help customers move their workloads to Google Cloud. The way this presentation will flow today is I'll give some opening comments about the state of the data security marketplace and some of the partnership between Google and Thales. And then Nelly, I'll hand over to you and look for you to talk about some scenarios and tell us a little bit more about the details around the partnership and our go-to-market technologies. So why don't we start with the state of our the world, what's driving our customers today when it comes to data security. A lot of folks want to move to the cloud and are moving to the cloud. If you look at the fourth element on this slide, you'll see that Gartner shows that it's over $3.5 billion spent in 2021 on cloud migration. And one of the biggest barriers to folks moving to the cloud is the complexity, the operational complexity of moving workloads to the cloud. And what we're going to talk about today with Thales and Google is how we work to reduce some of that complexity to make it easier for folks to move their workloads from on-premise private clouds into the public cloud. What's driving the business is data growth, over 181 zettabytes of data created by 2025. And at our last count, over 1,800 different privacy laws around the world that different organizations have to comply with. And the last thing on the slide to the far right, Gartner took a look at how many external keys are going to be generated over the next 2 years, and they show a 40% growth in external key generation. And that's an important element as you protect information, external encryption keys as you protect information within the Google Cloud. Many of you on this webinar, I'm sure, have heard of Google. I'm not sure how many of you have heard of Thales. So just a very quick summary slide. When you think about Thales, we've been in the business of data security for over 30 years. We like to tell our customers and the folks out there in the world, the market, think of three things when you think of data security: discover, protect, control. And those three words really reflect what we do. We help folks find critical data, no matter where it is. We protect that data, and we help them control that data throughout its whole life cycle by managing centralized key lifecycle management. The purpose of this presentation is to see how we can trust the public cloud vendor, Google, more. What you see on your screen is a quote from the head of solution security or strategy, at Google, which talks about to trust cloud computing, you need to be able to trust it less. It really means making sure the control stays with you, the consumer of Google Cloud. And that way you don't have to trust Google Cloud as much because you're taking that control into your hands and you're really leveraging Google for what they bring and all their value in terms of infrastructure, compute, and all the other different wonderful attributes that come from using the Google public cloud. So if you think about Thales and Google and our partnership, it's really around three different areas. First is acceleration. We wanted to help our joint customers move their workloads into Google as quickly as possible. We felt like the best way to do that was through offering security through encryption key control. And that's one of the key pillars that we're going to talk about today, and Nelly's going to give you some examples of. Basically, you see to the left there the diagram where Google provides the infrastructure security and Thales does what we do well, data security. So we both do what we both do well on that Venn diagram. That's the better together story. We all have best practices when it comes to security, and we're employing those best practices as we go to market together. So Thales and Google have done a lot of integrations already together, all the way from client through virtual machine security and Kubernetes types of security applications. You'll see that we have implemented quite a few different external key operations that protect information within the Google Cloud, including bring your own key, hold your own key, as well as this new ubiquitous data encryption, which is really edge-to-edge, end-to-end encryption, leveraging the confidential compute or the capabilities that are available to us within the Google Cloud today. You can see some of the products that are used within Thales to protect this information along with Google. This is our CipherTrust platform, data security platform, along with CipherTrust Cloud Key Manager. So when you talk about moving workloads to the cloud, a lot of it's around digital sovereignty. And working with Google and our customers, they recognize that they want to be able to maintain digital sovereignty of all that information that goes to the cloud, trust the cloud less. But when you think about sovereignty, there's really three different aspects. The one up on the right, data sovereignty, is the one that everyone talks about. How do you protect information when it moves into Google so that intelligence agencies and other nation states can't look at that information? So we do that through encryption and other forms of protection, as well as external key management. But there's other forms of sovereignty, operational sovereignty, in the sense that we make sure we protect the operations of that information in the cloud, making sure you always have access to it, and that a bad actor can't get access to the information while it's in the cloud, the public cloud. And the last element of sovereignty that Google and Talos bring together is software sovereignty, the ability to write a software application and put it within an infrastructure and maintain that application without reliance on any third-party software. So altogether, we've provided a solution that gives you all those different elements regarding digital sovereignty. When you think about moving your workload to the cloud, there's one concept that we wanted to bring here. Data has different states. There's data at rest and data in motion, data in transit. You hear about that quite a bit. And there's been techniques that have been out there for years, being able to protect that data in rest and as it moves. At the beginning of this whole journey to the cloud, there's data discovery. That's almost a form of data protection itself. Being able to know where your data is, where those data flows are coming from and going to, and being able to manage those data flows through data at rest or data in transit. The holy grail of nirvana that we're going to talk about a little bit further today is data in use. This is the ability to manage the data from the point that it's actually created and throughout its whole life cycle in use. And we're going to do that as we talk about ubiquitous data encryption or edge-to-edge, end-to-end protection. It's a unique offering that is being brought to market with Google along with Talos Key Management today. Nellie, I'd like to hand it over to you.
Thank you so much, Todd. And again, my part of the conversation is about exactly the same topic as you started, how we will protect customers' data on Google Cloud using partners' capability like Talos. And no surprise, together, we always hear the same data protection challenges that our customers facing, how they protect sensitive data, exactly as you described, and not only data, but also their IP, their software, the binaries, the containers, all of that is very important to our customers and have very sensitive value to them. Our customers asking, they all have their own clients, so they definitely need to protect the data of the clients and users utilizing capabilities that we together provide. And as you mentioned, there are so many compliance and protection regulation and data protection regulation, privacy protection regulation that our customers need to deal with, and helping them in this from sovereign to privacy to compliance that they have to deal with is absolutely our priority. And the last piece that is actually a new capability that never been possible before, that as we discuss, this confidential computing and ability for us to process data in use, this fourth stage, as you mentioned in your presentation, is opening a new door to multiple use cases that's been impossible to do before. And I'm talking about this collaboration and federation processing that our customers use to and ask for so many times to us, how we would be able to collaborate together, sharing or aggregating incredibly sensitive data sets that we can't honestly share in any way, shape, and form, but being able to do that in such way as the results of this aggregation will benefit all of us. So we see all of those requirements coming to us from data protection and workload protection standpoint. And as you properly said, limiting visibility and access to sensitive data is absolutely paramount goal for cloud providers like Google. And encryption, no surprise, is incredibly powerful tool to accomplish this safeguarding of sensitive data on GCP. And again, encryption at rest, thanks to your partnership, we have multiple capabilities that we can use with our what we call the external key manager and Talos products when customers hold their keys and never share the keys in clear with the cloud provider and able to encrypt the data outside of cloud or within the cloud utilizing this capability. We have, as any other cloud in the world, have ability to protect our customers' data in transit, as you mentioned as well, Todd, and its ability for us to protect it over protocol, being L7, L3, whatever our customers used to have. But you're absolutely right. This last stage, this new paradigm of protecting data when it's being processing is something new that Google with confidential computing coming together. I have exactly the same slide, and it's saying, yes, to be able to trust somebody, you need to not force to trust it. This trust cannot be inherited. It should be explicit trust that we have between our customers, between our partners, and ourselves. And to be able to trust cloud, I'm repeating Anton's point exactly as it was, we need to trust it less. And let's figure out what does it mean in reality and how together we building this end-to-end ubiquitous data encryption, this edge-to-edge encryption to be able to accomplish this goal. So scenario number one, I want to encrypt my data end-to-end without sharing data or keys in clear text with cloud. And it's critical requirement that coming to our customers from sovereign, from privacy preserving, from compliance, and from security point. Because as less access to this sensitive information is available on the cloud, the better to all of us. So it's helping us to build such solution, but how it will start? And we started together. It's so interesting because at Next, 2 years ago, we had Thales and Google on the stage talking about the new, very innovative solution that we call shielded computing. It means we want to ensure that everything you run within our environment is integrity assured and protected. And how to do that? It's exactly what we built. Right now, 2 years later, shielded VMs or shielded computing is default on cloud. So you cannot start VM or Kubernetes node without shielding. It's the bar that we apply to everything. So now I know that whatever I run is integrity protected. What is the next thing? Now I want to create cryptographic box around this environment, and it's what confidential computing is doing. It's creating this cryptographic box so our customers would be able to run their application and workload without any modifications, but confidentially. And this is what confidential computing is all about. And a year ago, again, Google announced as a first entry to this portfolio, confidential VMs. And after that, we introduced secure data analytics and a confidential GKE as well, our Kubernetes version on cloud. But it's not all. So now we have the box. We know what we're running in the box. We can trust the software that's running in the box, or low-level kernel and bootloader and everything else. But how to ensure the data that we share with this secret box is actually not exposed and clear. And it's where our external key manager, together with Dallas product, is coming to play, because you encrypt it utilizing the keys that never leave Thales HSMs. And this encrypted data floating to confidential environment and ensure that end-to-end is data protected. And the keys, it's the most important part, is only and only shared with attested, well-verified by Thales confidential environment. And it's how actually we made it together. We ensure that ubiquitous data encryption allow us incredibly and seamlessly make impossible work. It's to help customers to keep the keys as it belongs in their own hands, but being able to utilize Google Cloud confidential environments on all different set of portfolio and products for their specific use cases and workloads. So a little word on this new stage, or kind of, it's not new stage, but it's additional stage in all of our data protection story, confidential computing, and a few use cases to explain where it's becoming very applicable. And we see in cloud that customers from different blockchain technology, different chains, coming to provide privacy protected transaction on blockchain. And we have a few customers that actually share the story, Block One, Bullish, and others, how they use this technology. It's the first. The second, we've seen a lot of customers using these environments to protect keys. They want, like HashiCorp, HashiVault, is again keeping all of those secrets in memory. So it's critically important for them to ensure that this environment is well secure with cryptography, with cryptographic boundary around that. And again, today, we announced our collaboration with AstraZeneca, that using confidential environment also for their research, where a lot of data needs to be very sensitive data, needs to be brought up from different parties to be able to process it and provide the right, right understanding of which specific individuals can receive some specific drugs. And again, this particular partnership in continue with us. And as I said, collaborate securely without trusting. The trust is always our goal. And as less we trusting, that more we trusting by the end. It's what confidential computing is trying to enable with this collaborative analysis and modeling that our customers using as well. So bottom line, end-to-end data protection is absolutely, it's not only something that Google or Thales do alone. It's the industry effort and everybody around us, and together we're building to bring this completely important step forward. Remove implicit trust in the cloud provider and replace it with explicit trust. Thales in Google is offering hardware-based encryption solution. And it's also important because our customers trust hardware more. And it needs to be for data at rest and data in use for all workloads for any sizes. And finally, Google partners like Thales offer unique solution to protect your data, our customers, end-to-end, without sharing your keys or data in clear text with cloud. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your time.